SNOWTRAX is sponsored by Polaris, Think Outside, Yamaha, Revs Your Heart, FXR Racing, celebrating 25 years of speed, and by iPone Lubricants, exclusively distributed by Parts Canada.
As snowmobilers, we always want just one more great ride. And you don't know if that ride you took today was going to be the last one. So at the end of the 2020 season, I really wanted one more ride, real bad. Home wasn't rideable. If you wanted to wear off a full set of carbides, then you could go out and try, but it wasn't that good. So we put together a trip up to the Algoma district to Northern Ontario, where riding lasts for like a month longer than everywhere else. I called up my buddy Tanner, who I've done a number of dirt track stories with. When I call him, he always seems to find a sick day or a holiday. He's always got another day for me. So
I've had the opportunity to go with Luke on several trips for SNOWTRAX TV, which is great. Makes me think that Luke doesn't have any other friends to invite, but
we jumped in the car and basically just headed straight north from where we live in Ontario.
with my day job, I've had a chance to work all over Northern Ontario, and I've seen the amount of awesome trails up north. So when Luke brought up the idea of me coming along on this trip and put on big miles, 400 plus in a couple of days, I was really, really excited.
The plan was to leave from Sault Ste. Marie, ride to Halfway Haven, and then from Halfway Haven to Wawa on the first day. And then day two was going to be a nice easy one from Wawa to Dubreuilville. So it was a pretty big trip to do in 2 days, but how else would I want to end my season with a 400-kilometer ride in arguably some of the best trails in Canada? Our first day consisted basically just of driving. It's about a 7-hour trip from where we live in Haliburton County to Sault Ste. Marie, where we were staying at the Fairfield right in the city of Sault Ste. Marie. But interestingly enough, the Fairfield Hotel, it also has a trailhead right out of the parking lot.
Freezing rain in the morning before you wake up is probably better than rain, so we'll take it. But it definitely makes the morning routine a little bit less exciting, I guess.
The interesting thing is, even with that kind of weather at night, the conditions were still perfect. I mean, it was like a sunny day. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I start looking around at my gear.
I forgot my nice winter boots hours away, so.
Oh no, I just forgot one of the most important things next to my gloves and helmet.
Well, he's not going to hear the end of this, but I guess we're going to have to go get him a set of boots, aren't we?
Of all the things that you'd remember, you know, like kind of important, can't ride in running shoes when it's cold. So I forgave him quickly. There was no, you know. When it came time to choose sleds for this trip, I thought I would be like friend of the year and give Tanner the sled that we actually picked as the SNOWTRAX Real World Sled of the Year in 2020, the Polaris Indy XC 850 137, the Adventure. And I thought, I'll bring that for Tanner and give him the best possible sled for a ride. But I had ulterior motives. We'd just been delivered a 2021 MXZ Renegade XRS with the new X suspension, and I wanted to ride that. So I kind of won that one.
So luckily, I know the Skidoo dealer in Sault Ste. Marie here. It's like one of the most impressive snowmobile dealers you'll ever see in your life. So I'm guessing they probably have some boots for sale. So we're gonna roll over there right now and make sure Tanner's Tootsies stay warm all day. That's the plan.
I actually know the guys from North Shore BRP dealer in Sault Ste. Marie, and the last time I met them, they said, we built a new dealership, it's pretty impressive, it'd be great if you could come check it out. So I thought, well, this is perfect. I can go over and check out their dealership, say hi, get Tanner a pair of boots. I had no idea what North Shore was all about, man. This place is unreal. It's huge. There must be 150 vehicles inside, side-by-sides, ATVs, snowmobiles, watercraft, you name it.
I have never seen a power sports dealer that looks like this before, ever.
All the parts and accessories you can need.
Shiny.
Most importantly though, boots.
I've never seen a dealership so big and clean and wide open. It was almost like going into a mall, but full of sleds and ATVs.
Ooh.
While we were at the dealer, we met up with John Breckenridge and his wife Mary, and he is the president of the Sioux Trailblazers Snowmobile Club, which is a club that takes care of the Sault Ste. Marie region. But I mean, this guy's been riding up north his entire life. So I thought this is the perfect guy to guide us. His wife is an awesome rider. So they joined us for this ride and showed us around and made sure we didn't get lost.
When most groups contact me about what there is to ride here, I ask what they like to do or what they want to do. So up in this area, anywhere in this region, and there's lots of loop trails. You can day ride from any one of the locations. If you want to go off trail, there is some phenomenal terrain to go off trail. There's a little bit of everything. It's a mix of every type of riding that you want.
SNOWTRAX is brought to you by the regions of Quebec by the sea. Discover our ride ideas.
Whose sled's this?
Well, you know, since I film all of our shows myself, I just bring a spare. This is the camera sled.
My wife and myself are both running, she's running a 2018 XCR Polaris Switchback. I'm running a 2020 XCR Switchback, and I've had the chance to ride the Adventure here. I haven't had a chance yet to ride the Skidoo, but we'll work on that.
The trails when you immediately leave Sault Ste. Marie are, I would say, more similar to Southern Ontario where a lot of other people ride. They're pretty tight, they're twisty, they are impeccably maintained and groomed perfectly, but they're more bush type trails that are tighter. However, once you get to Searchmont, and then you continue towards Halfway Haven from Searchmont, that's where things change. That's where you get on the hydro line, the famous Northern Ontario hydro line.
I decided to take the boys for a ride right out to Lake Superior where they could actually drop onto Lake Superior and ride around. It intersects our trail to Searchmont, and it's a short ride from the intersection to where we went to Haviland Bay.
I'm like, man, that's a big lake, like a really big lake. And we ride down. John tells me, oh, this is Lake Superior. So when in Rome, hold her pin.
I've never ridden on Lake Superior before, but he thought it'd be cool. There's some neat rock features that you ride alongside the lake, and there was a spot we were gonna stop for some food right off Lake Superior. So he took us on a bit of a detour, but we got to ride full throttle down Lake Superior and check out all this cool scenery, and it was definitely worth it.
So what do you think of that ride there on the lake?
I'm having a blast. These trails up here have definitely been the best ones I've ever ridden on, honestly.
There's a couple interesting aspects to this trip that need to be understood before you try and duplicate what we did. you have to plan your trip accordingly. And if you don't have a fiver on the back of your sled, you're not going to make it the next leg of the trip to the next gas stop, which is at, I would say within the snowmobile industry, a world famous landmark spot called Halfway Haven. And that is really only gas stop to get you all the way to Wawa.
The trails up north are incredible. The best trails I've ever ridden on in my life, hands down. Really, really wide and great elevation changes that are a lot of fun, and you get tons of great scenic views.
They wind sort of through the hydroline or out into the hydroline, the open area, for some fast, straighter sections, and then they cut straight over into the trees for like a tight tree section again. And
virtually follows the hydroline all the way, but you're kind of darting into the trees for a little section and then back out into the power lines. So you're getting a mix of two great different trails essentially, where you can put on a lot of miles and not get bored.
SNOWTRAX is sponsored by Princess Auto. Make it work.
And you can put on 100 kilometers and not even realize you did it. By the time it's done, you've been having so much fun and the trails have been so interesting that you're like, wow, we're already here at Halfway Haven. How did we get here so soon?
How you guys doing?
We're doing great now that we're here. What'd you say it was from the Sioux to here?
90 from Searchmount.
90 miles from Searchmount. So how far from the Sioux then?
It's another 35
fastest
miles
way.
probably.
So you're like 200 from the Sioux.
Yeah. From the Sioux, you couldn't make it.
10,000 liters, just to give you an idea of how much traffic this place gets.
So that's
Once a week. That's once a week.
Seriously, once a week? You guys get delivered?
They have food, you can stay there if you need to.
You use that fuel to power generators and stuff, or are yours all diesel?
Diesel, all
Okay.
diesel.
We got more tanks for diesel here as well.
Yeah, they're out back. That's 2,000 gallons there.
And we fill the groomers here, obviously.
Oh,
for
right,
our-
yeah,
For
okay,
our
that makes
return
sense.
trip.
Yeah.
'Cause our groomer takes 300 liters to get here.
Right.
Yeah, so it gets a little expensive.
Someday you're gonna have to put in like an autopilot in those groomers so you can just watch movies while it drives itself.
Why can't we do it like a drone?
It also services 3 separate trails for groomers because it can take up to 13 hours to groom from a destination to Halfway Haven. The groomer operators will groom up, stay overnight, fill up with diesel, and then drive home. So Halfway Haven isn't just a cool spot. It's an absolute necessity if you want to do that ride. You have to have this in operation, and it's been in operation for, decades. Our morning had included a lot of miles, so by the time we reached Halfway Haven, we were really looking forward to just taking the helmets off, putting our feet up, and having a little bit of a break and maybe something to eat. Tune in next week as we continue to explore Halfway Haven and finish the second half of our ride in Northern Ontario's Algoma district, from Sault Ste. Marie all the way to Wawa on to Dubreuilville.
This season, Polaris has seriously stepped up their game, and I don't just mean in one area, but all across the line. Evidence of that, the 2021 Switchback Assault 146, the evolution of the Switchback. Okay, so right up front, let's clear this up. This is the 146-inch Switchback Assault in the MATRYX chassis. It's kind of the replacement for the Switchback Assault, but not really, because you can still buy a 144 Switchback Assault in the old Axis chassis. Do I like the fact that there's 2 of them? Well, yeah, it gives you lots of options and different price points, but at the end of the day, let me tell you, there ain't much not to like when it comes to the MATRYX chassis. So what stayed the same and what's changed? Well, the new Switchback Assault in the MATRYX chassis does look quite a bit different, but it still has that hallmark Switchback Assault DNA. With there still being an 850 Switchback Assault in the 144-inch length, what am I benefiting from going to this new length? Well, the rear IGX skid frame is nearly identical except for a bit of extra length and some rail stiffeners, so you're still getting the hallmark Switchback Assault style rear compliance. But with the extra 2 inches of track length, you actually benefit from a reduction in weight. Yeah, go figure. Because of the pitch on the track, it ends up tipping the scales below the 144-inch Switchback Assault, which results in saved weight while increasing flotation. Now when it comes to the front end of this sled, you're still getting the same cast front bulkhead as well as the same suspension geometry as last year's Switchback Assault. Now where things change is the shock package. This new Switchback is equipped with the Walker Evans Velocity shocks. Yeah, those are the ones with the reservoir mounted lower than you're used to seeing them. So what's the big deal with Velocity? Well, know that with this package, you're getting not just the best Walker shocks available, but the best shocks in the industry. You can debate that all you want, but it's fact. Velocity shocks use an improved design of the needle valve technology found on the Walker needle shocks. This new design offers multiple stages of internal bypass, which delivers greater rebound and compression adjustability and a greater control over the damping. Or if we want to sum it up in less jargon, they're the best working, smoothest riding, most controllable shocks ever put on a sled from the factory. So you're good in the suspension department, and this thing's going to take whatever you throw at it and a whole lot more. But what's MATRYX? MATRYX is a whole bunch. Right off the get-go, it's a level of fit and finish that we haven't seen in this industry from Polaris. The panel lines, joints, and trim is flawless. The new tunnel design is also far cleaner with a plastic over trim that makes it look far tidier, but now allows for a new ultra-quick lock and ride flex system that utilizes the gas tank cutouts as mounting points, and new quick lashing mounts so you can attach accessories in not seconds, but like seconds. Pretty much, yeah, just like 1 second. Now when you move forwards on the tunnel, you're going to notice this sled has a newly shaped seat with a very narrow front portion that reduces seat width by 3 inches. And the cockpit itself is 5 inches narrower over the axis, which lets you easily shift your weight to either side with greater ease, but more importantly with greater results than any sled I've ever ridden. The response in cornering is incredible. The sled corners more like a motocross bike and less like a snowmobile, making it incredibly easy to ride and get the corner-to-corner results that you want without hardly any effort. Luke says that the Indy VR1 is the best riding trail sled that he's ever ridden, and this Switchback Assault 146 is the best riding crossover sled that I've ever ridden. So when it comes to MATRYX, it's not just a one-trick pony. Off-trail abilities are at no shortage here either. With the 1.5-inch Ice Cobra track, I'm loving the handling of this sled. It gets up and goes wherever I need it to, and at the same time, I found the on-trail abilities to be seriously improved with this slightly shallower lug. The industry went 146 over the past few years, and this response lives up to the expectations I put on the Switchback. The Switchback Assault hasn't just been a good sled, it's been an amazing sled, and I thought nearly impossible to beat. But in this case, Polaris has outdone themselves. When it comes to the Switchback Assault in the MATRYX chassis, you get the fully loaded version, so that means that it comes with this crazy 7S 7-inch touchscreen GPS display. And while many displays are interactive, this one is in a completely different league of its own. You don't just get a fast responding gauge that's totally customizable, you get the Group Ride app that lets you not just interact with other riders, but see them visually on your screen. And even when riding with other brand riders, as long as they have the app installed on their phone, you can see them too. So whether it's someone getting stuck in the hills and being able to quickly find them, or just keeping track of that one slower rider who lags behind, this gauge is incredible. And while I never thought I'd say that about a gauge, it truly changes the riding experience without taking away from the purity of snowmobiling. It's worth noting that Polaris sleds equipped with the 7S gauge don't require cell coverage to pick each other up on the map. Only other riders without the gauge require cell service. And when you look behind that gauge, you'll find a trunk that's quite cavernous, and when linked with the underseat storage, gives you the greatest included storage in the category, and by a long shot. Now along with the leading storage is the leading hot grip setup. Polaris Smart Warmers are thermostatically set to your desired temp and programmed through your 7S display, and will maintain temperature much like climate control. Not getting too hot or cold, and each setting of high, medium, and low can be user adjusted to your preference and will stay in memory. Something as simple as hot grips that gets a revolutionary change, and I believe will change the way that we look at heating our digits from now on. So I've given you a lot of pros about the new 146-inch MATRYX Switchback Assault, but is any one snowmobile truly perfect? If this sled claimed to be as good as a mountain sled, then no, it wouldn't be perfect. If it claimed to ride as good as a 129, nope, wouldn't be perfect. But the crazy thing is, it rides so good compared to a trail sled, and is so capable compared to a mountain sled that for its designation of 50-50 on-off trail, this is the quintessential perfect crossover sled. Did I just say that? Yeah, I did, because I've ridden sleds my entire life. I put the miles on the trail, off trail, and in the mountains, and I can say with authority, there is nothing produced today in the crossover market that can stand up to this sled. Hate me for it or love me for it, I really don't care. You can't buy my opinion and you can't sway it. You can earn it by producing a sled that delivers. And when it came to the Switchback Assault in the Axis chassis, I thought it was pretty incredible. But the MATRYX chassis Switchback, this thing is next level.
SNOWTRAX has been sponsored by MBRP Performance Exhaust, built for the victory lap, and by Arctic Cat Snowmobiles.
If you like what you've just seen, click the subscribe button and comment below. And make sure you check out all of our great videos on SNOWTRAX TV's YouTube channel.